Good morning. Good morning. You know what? I had scheduled a whole bunch of lives on StreamYard a couple weeks ago. And my good friend over at Yogi Hollow Farm said, all of your lives are buried because you scheduled so many of them. And I look back as I scheduled way too many, way too many. I couldn't even find where I was supposed to go live on things. So I deleted them, like the majority of them. All of them except for the few that I knew I was going to be needing in the next week or so. And I accidentally deleted today's live. So nobody has received any notifications. So if you're watching this on a replay and you were expecting a live, I apologize if you missed it. My bad. I know now not to schedule so many lives ahead of time. And I know to double check the night before because I thought I had double checked, but I didn't. So we didn't have a live scheduled for this morning. So again, if you're coming in late because of me, I'm sorry. If you're watching it on a replay, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining me today. I've already had a coffee. And it's so unladylike to drink out of a bottle of water. I need to bring something else with me. And just so people are saying, oh, you sure do use a lot of plastic, I refill them with my Berkey. So good morning. Hello, Gwen. Good morning. I was just sharing that I had messed up and accidentally deleted the live for today. So no notifications went out. So I wasn't even sure if anybody was going to show up today. So I'm glad you're here. It's a very quiet morning here on the farm. I just grabbed some crochet. And I thought I would just sit here and work a little bit on crochet just in case nobody showed up. But I'm going to be up in my craft room today getting everything set up with my lights and my cameras for our crochet along. I think it's going to be starting tomorrow. I want to make sure I give enough time for everybody to get their yarn if they want to participate. And Harley has a vet appointment. No, not a vet appointment. Harley has an appointment at the groomers tomorrow at 11 o'clock. There's no way I'm going to be able to get my crochet done for our first crochet along for our first block and then get him to the groomers on time. So I'm debating if I should make the time a little earlier in the day or if I should go ahead and schedule one for tomorrow and maybe just have it be like a back to basics crochet one-on-one, getting your slip knot started, single crochet, half double crochet, maybe spend 20 minutes or so on that materials list again and what to expect in our crochet along. Or should I move it to 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, Central Standard Time, and let's just jump in with our first block? So anybody who's planning on attending that, let me know. I'll do it whatever works best for everybody. It does look like, according to the poll, Thursdays are going to be the best day and Thursday mornings. So we'll be setting it up to do one block every Thursday morning, and the blocks will progress on top of each other. So we'll start simple and then they'll get a little bit more complicated, I should say, as we go along. Good morning, Melissa, and good morning, Major. You don't think that is an excuse? It's not. It's an explanation. I don't do excuses. I do explanations. How's that? So we'll be starting that crochet along soon. I'm actually working on a block right now as we're sitting here talking because I want to give each block that I do a little run through before we go live the following day, just in case I come across any issues. I can relay those issues onto everybody in the crochet along so we don't have any big flubs. Good morning, Nisi. Good morning, Denise. Whatever works for you. I haven't found my big spool of string yet. Oh goodness, find your big ball of string. I think we're going to get going. I know that Denise said that she had a big, Denise, not Nisi, but Denise, they're both named Denise. Good morning, Heather Lynn. I know Denise said she has a bunch of yarn in a stash, so if she joins us, it'll be a stash buster. I know that Nisi has ordered her yarn, and Nisi, let me know in the chat, will your yarn be in by tomorrow, or do I need to wait another week, and will you be able to attend on Thursday mornings? I know that Thursdays, you'll be probably working on your commission pieces, but if we start in the morning, like at 8 or 9 o'clock your time, would you be able to join in for a little while and work on one block a week? So let me know. Awesome helping picking your colors for the crochet along. Oh, thank you, sweetie. I love the word awesome sauce, by the way. I think that should be in the dictionary if it's not there already. Looking forward to learning something new, Major. Well, that'll be interesting, Major. I'm starting something else this week. I want to keep it a secret, but I will be posting something soon. I'm pretty excited about it. I have to do a little bit of legwork ahead of time, and I'm hoping it will be consumable content that people will come back and watch over and over again. It's going to have some ASMR. It's going to be relaxing. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for in this new thing that I just thought of this morning. Oh, so Nisi, did you get your yarn in yet, honey? I would like to know, because that will kind of help me decide. And also if you can attend the lives. If not, the replays will be available for this crochet along. So I'm just really trying to get everything pulled together. Can you use paracord? You could, but that's going to be an awfully big, heavy Afghan, Major. But you could do whatever you like. Yes, you can do whatever you like. I love that song. Papa Jim and I had headphones on one time when we were on an airplane. I had a playlist on my phone, and I was able to play it while we were on a flight. And I had one earbud in, and he had the other earbud in. And that song came on, and we're both singing it. I don't know if we each had one earbud or were we both able to plug in. I think somehow we both had earbuds on, and we couldn't hear what was going on in the plane. So we were just kind of in our own little space, you know. And that song came on. I don't know who sings that song. Is it T.I.? I'm not sure. Good morning, Lisa. That song came on. And so we're sitting on the plane's in the air. And both Papa Jim and I were singing. We're going, you can have whatever you like. Yes, you can have whatever you like. And then we noticed people were looking at us because we were both singing out loud. But of course, we didn't know. You know, it's one of those moments where you're just kind of in your own little world and you don't know what everybody's listening to. And we still kind of giggle about it. That was kind of fun. Oh my gosh. So if you want to join the crochet along, you can use whatever fiber you like. I know I had somebody say that they're allergic to acrylic. And I will tell you, I do a lot of work with this acrylic yarn. But I do remember when I made this Afghan last time over 20 years ago, I remember when I was putting it together, I had a little bit of a reaction on my forearm. It's very rare that that happens. It must have been a hot, sweaty day, because I did have a little bit of a reaction to my skin. But usually the acrylic yarn doesn't bother me too much. But I'm telling you, it is a big, let me see if I can find something here to show you, because I actually shared this a little bit with the ladies, but I can't pull it up on my laptop. So let me see if I can find this and show you what I sent to the ladies the other day who are interested in participating in our crochet along, because I had my friend send me some pictures of the Afghan that I made her over 20 years ago. So I'm going to hold this up and hopefully you can see it. So let me see if I make sure I don't get the ring light glare on there. So there's the Afghan. There's just a picture of it and the 3 colors. And every block is a different pattern. So it is indeed a sampler. And then this is the picture of the Afghan that she has draped over her chair. And so 63 different patterns, 63 different squares, 3 different colors. Denise Pacelle will be there. Wonderful. I'm glad, Denise. It's a big, heavy blanket, and she's used it for 20 plus years, and it's still going strong. And I love that she still uses it. I know that, you know, sometimes I crochet things for people and they're like, oh, I love it. And you're like, okay. And then you show up years later and it's like, well, it's not that you ask, and it's not that you don't notice when it's not there, but it's nice when you notice when it's there. So it's nice that, I would make surprise visits to my friend and the Afghan would be on the couch, crumpled up with her pillow and a cup of coffee on the little tray next to the couch. So I know she uses it every day. And when we moved back here to Iowa, I went to my brother's house and on the back of the chair, 2 Afghans that I've made for them. And you can tell it wasn't something that they quickly grabbed out of the closet and threw it onto the back of a chair because, oh, Alicia's coming over. You could tell that they'd been there and that they're used. So I'm really happy with that. Lisa's ready. She can't wait. You know what, guys? Oh, my eyes are so blurry this morning. My sugars are good, but oh God, that's not any better. Gotta clean those up. Trying to catch up. My mother made me clothes out of double knit for years, and it gave me hives. She finally came in my room one day when I was changing into play clothes and saw it. Acrylic yarn does the same thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't say that that's any better. My eyes this morning. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read the chat. It's weird because now everything's kind of double. I don't know. Like I said, my sugars were good this morning, but my eyes are a little blurry. I'll tell you what it is. Lisa and I were talking about this earlier. Good morning, Gail. Good morning. Hope it's not waiting to be shipped out. Oh, nope, it's not. It's waiting to be shipped out. So it will not be here probably until sometime next week, but that's okay. I'll watch the live and I'll be able to catch up with no problem. Well, Nisi, what I was saying earlier is Harley has a groomer's appointment tomorrow. And so if we do a live tomorrow, I'm going to have to do it at 9 o'clock my time. That'll be 8 o'clock yours and Lisa's time. So if you guys are good with that time frame, Denise, are you good with that time frame as well? We'll do it at 9 o'clock Central Time. And for the ladies, Mountain Time, it will be 8 o'clock. So let me know if you guys want to do that. Will we need to block our squares? Not necessarily. No, I never blocked on the one that I did. You should be pretty good. Once we get it crocheted out and you put the border around it before we connect them, you don't need to block them. I never did. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. So, so that's our Afghan. We'll be starting that. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'll schedule it for tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. I'll get that put up on StreamYard. I'm going to mess with my camera today. I got this new ring light. And I'm going to use the ring light. It's got this camera attachment here, so I'll be able to have a facing down angle so you can see my hands while we're working. And we're just going to go for it. But I can't wait to do the other thing that I want to do too. I'm so excited. I had this idea this morning for something I want to do. Anyways, I will be coming back from dropping Z off at school, but that's okay. I can listen on my way home if I need to go back to the replay. Okay, Nisi. I knew it was going to be difficult in the daytime anyways, but I'll tell you, I've been so tired. Staying up at nighttime's been a chore, and then I'm waking up the next day, and I'll tell you all about that in a second here. To the point where I'm even thinking about maybe after I get my scheduled quickies done, I might give the quickies a break for a little while because I'm on a new medication. And I was sharing this with some in chat earlier over on Instagram, and Lisa was in there. And I shared with you guys that since my diagnosis of diabetes, I've worked really hard to get my sugar down. My A1C went from 13.8 to 6.2 in 3 months. And my doctor was just astounded. She was amazed. The good thing about replays is you can catch up before the next live at your convenience. Absolutely. But my lab work came back, and it's come back this way a couple times that my triglycerides were a little high. So my doctor wanted to start me on a statin. And I did some consulting. I talked to my brother, who's a pharmacist, like, do I really need to do these? He says, well, it is good for your heart health. It is. And I've had high triglycerides for a while, so you should get on them. And normally he doesn't tell me to get on meds if I don't need them. I mean, he'll tell me, don't do that one. This one, he says, yeah, you probably should. So I started this new statin this week. And the first night, I remember having a very vivid dream. It wasn't a night terror. It wasn't a nightmare. But it was like I woke up thinking, whoa, what just happened? That was a weird dream. And I just kind of put it off that I must have just slept really good last night. I must have worn myself out, slept really good, because I don't normally dream. It's very rare that I have dreams. Statins cause aches and pains also. I know. I haven't had any of those yet. So the second night, I had a dream. And this dream was really weird. Like, really just like, where did that come from? So strange. And I won't tell you that one. It's just kind of weird. But last night, oh my gosh. Last night, any of you that grew up in, the 70s, remember they used to have the pull tabs on the soda and you could pull the tab all the way off? And we would fold them over each other and make long strands of the pop tabs. And then you could make, really cool curtains with them and stuff. They were so much fun. And then they went to the new pop tabs on sodas, and they're the little flip ones and they stay attached. In this dream, I had flipped open a soda and I'd done the flip tab and it came off. And it has that little sharp little ring on it. And so I'm trying to keep up at the, you had weird dreams too last night, Gwen? I don't know what it is. So in my dream, I thought, I remember back in the 70s, we used to put them in our soda. We used to drop the tabs in our soda and our parents would always say, you're going to choke on it. You're going to choke on it. So in my dream, I dropped this pop tab in my soda. And I take a big old drink of soda. I had a friend that showed up that I haven't seen in years, and she brought some fresh bell peppers and tomatoes. And we were standing in the kitchen, and I took a drink of my soda and I swallowed that pop tab. But it got stuck like in the back of my throat. It didn't go all the way down. It just kind of got, but every time I swallowed, it would go down a little bit farther. So I was trying to keep from swallowing. And I can feel it on the left side of my throat, like back where your tonsils are. It was stuck. And I remember panicking and thinking, I need to get to Jim, because Jim has all kinds of tools out in the workshop and he'll be able to get like these long forceps things, and he can go down in my throat and pull the pop tab out, and I won't choke on it and die. Well, as I'm trying to find him and get to him, my friend is just like bombarding me with these tomatoes and these peppers that she brought, right? It's like I can't get away from her. And the more she's doing it, the more I'm feeling that pop tab go more and more, where it's going to go in my gut, right? I'm going to swallow it. I'm past the point of actually like choking on it. It's going down my esophagus. Now I'm worried about if it gets in my stomach, that little part that's pulled away is going to like cut my guts open all the way through. I won't even bother telling you about yours. Yeah, you've probably got some crazy dreams, huh? Oh, I just got a notification. My yarn will be here March 4th. Oh, well then that's great, Nisi. That's great. So now I'm all in this panic that, gosh, do I go to the hospital? Because maybe I'll just, get rid of it. Maybe it'll take care of itself. But then in my mind, I'm like, it's going to tear my guts up. It's going to be bad. But I remember while I'm trying to get to Jim's to see if he can still get this thing out of my mouth, out of my throat, this big shadow goes over me. I'm telling you, these are weird dreams. This big shadow goes over me, and it's the shadow of a hot air balloon. And the hot air balloon crash lands in our pasture where our donkey is. And there's like 3 or 4 people, and I could vividly see it like crash and the basket topple and everything. And in my dream, I'm so embarrassed to say this. In my dream, even though I'm like swallowing this pop tab and worrying about my imminent demise, I'm thinking, oh man, my camera's not charged. I can't film this for my YouTube channel. Nobody died. But it's like, that was my first thought is, oh man, this is good footage. I need to get this footage. And I couldn't get it because my camera wasn't charged. Oh, so yeah, you behave yourself, Major. I know where you're going. So then, I don't know. I guess I just swallowed the pop tab and I figured that's it. I'm just going to see what it does. And I came back in the house and I laid down to take a nap. And when I went to go lay down and take a nap, my friend's still like talking to me about these tomatoes and these peppers. I don't know if I'm having anxiety maybe about starting gardening season. Maybe I'm excited about getting my garden going. I don't know. Where the hot air balloon came from, I don't know. But I wake up from this nap that I take, right? And there's kids in my house. There are 3 kids in my house, and they're 3 kids that are a friend of mine. They're her children. And I'm like, what are these kids doing here? And Papa Jim says, oh, she stopped by and wanted to know if we could babysit. So I told her, sure. And I was like, well, I wish somebody would have asked me because, now that I'm awake, it's all going to fall on me. So I've got these 3 kids, and they're little, in my house. And I've still got my friend like throwing these peppers and these tomatoes at me. And I love her to death. But it's like, give the peppers and the tomatoes a break, man. You're killing me here. And I can still feel the pop tab in my throat. And then, I don't know, it's like I'm spending so much time dodging all of the peppers and everything. All of a sudden, there's just one kid. 2 kids are gone. And they're littles. And I say to my friend, and I say to Papa Jim, I was like, where are the babies? And they're like, I don't know. I thought you were watching them. And so I start looking around the farm, which was not how our farm is laid out. And I'm looking for these babies, and I'm worried that something bad has happened to these babies. And I look in the pool. We don't have a pool. I look in the pool, and at the bottom of the pool, there's a baby at the bottom of the pool. But when I look at it closer, I realize it's a doll. It's the doll with the bendy arms and the bendy legs. And it's, its arms are sticking straight out and the legs are bent, and it's on the bottom of the pool. And it takes me a second to realize it's a baby doll. So I don't have to worry about that. That's not the baby that I'm looking for. And I run and I look in the spa, and I'm looking in a pond, and I'm running around looking for these babies, and everybody's helping me look for these babies. Well, I go back to check the pool, and now there's 3 baby dolls in there. And it's like somebody's messing with me. And I just cannot find these babies. And the more I look, the more these fake baby dolls are all over the place. I'm telling you, by the time I was done, there were like 20 dolls in the bottom of the pool. All of them with their legs and arms, in the same position, but scattered throughout the pool. And same with the jacuzzi, and same with this pond I'm looking for. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if her babies, if something's happened to her babies, I'm never going to get over this. And I start panicking in my dream because I just can't find these babies. And I told Papa Jim, I was like, why did you tell her we would babysit her kids? Why did you do this to me? Why did you do this? Because now if something's happened to her babies, I'll never get over it. And as I'm talking to him, I look to my left, and she's there. She's sitting in a chair by the pool, and she's just weeping. She's not looking for the baby. She's waiting for me to find the babies. And she's just crying because she entrusted these babies to me, and I lost them. Finally, we find the babies. They're not babies. They're teenagers. I don't know what's happened. But they're teenagers all of a sudden. And one teenager's like 15 years old. And it's like, where were you? He says, well, I went down to the neighbors, and he had a camera. He says, I went down to take some pictures down at the neighbors. And it's like, you got to tell me. You got to tell me when you leave the house. You can't do that to me. It was this weird dream. And then I woke up. God only knows what I'm going to dream tonight. But if this continues, I've reached out to my brother, the pharmacist. And if this continues, I'm going to reach out to my doctor and say, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. I really wanted to sleep in this morning because I didn't feel rested. But then the dogs got me up. And so I got up and I started crocheting just to try to center myself a little bit. Oh my gosh. They're the weirdest dreams. What a dream. That's very strange. I'm thinking, what in the world did Alicia eat before she went to bed? I didn't eat anything, Niecy. It's this new medication I'm on. And I didn't You know, when I got the new medication, the pharmacist I got it from, because my brother's not practicing anymore, he doesn't have his pharmacy anymore. When I got the new medication, of course, they have a consultation with you. And the pharmacist says, you know, watch for this, watch for that. It was just very minute things. And I said, well, what about, you know, leg cramps and stuff? And we talked about the leg cramps and stuff. Never said anything about dreams. So after the second night of dreams, because Papa Jim's on this too. And the second night I said, do you get weird dreams ever since starting that medicine? He goes, oh yeah, I get weird dreams. So it's the medicine. We're both freaking out over weird dreams. Probably not sleeping very well. Who knows what I'll come up with next? I don't know. But I figured I would start sharing them a little bit, as long as they're not night terrors. I wouldn't say that this was a nightmare. It was just really weird. Just really weird. Yes, I was a little anxious. I was a little panicky, but it's not like I woke up really scared or anything. So you get leg cramps. You were told more potassium. Yes. Which, you know, I'll take my supplements and everything. A great way to get your potassium is to eat a banana, but then the banana has so many sugars and it offsets my blood sugar and I have a spike and all these crazy things. And I had seen a nutritionist before for the triglycerides. And she kept saying, we really, for your heart, we really want you to really just back off on eating like really salty meats like ham and bacon. And I told her, I said, I don't eat ham and bacon. I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. And she's like, oh. And so she went on with her whole thing as a nutritionist, and she really didn't help me very much. But I remember back then she was like, you know, cut down on your bread a little bit, because I think my A1C was starting to creep up a little bit and everything. And then she said, we'd really like for you to go get some CoQ10, some fish oil tablets. And I said, well, I won't take the fish oil tablets. And she said, why? I said, because I don't eat anything that is dead. Personal choice. And she says, oh, okay, well, let me think. And I said, all right. She goes, okay. She goes, you go to this other health food store and they have these, it's called red krill oil tablets. She goes, you can have those instead of the fish oil tablets. And I said, what are they? And she goes, they're krill. They're like little shrimp. I said, oh, were they living at one time? She goes, well, yeah. And I said, so they had to kill them to get the oil to put in the tablets? She goes, uh-huh. Well, then what makes you think I'm going to take them if I won't take the fish oil tablets? Oh. So I had to come up with my own thing. I eat a handful of walnuts every once in a while. That helps. If I eat bananas, it causes leg cramps. You're weird. My goodness, that is weird. It's like Alice in Wonderland moment type of dream. Not scary, just weird. Yes, Nisi. Yes, it was just weird. So when I finished this consultation with this nutritionist that cost like $300, she says, okay, again, remember, really cut back on the bacon and the ham. Really? Cut back on the bacon and the ham? Didn't I just tell you 6 times I don't eat bacon and ham? So, but I did have this pharmacist that I go to now did help me find the other day that I can get vegan. So that's kind of cool. And yes, flaxseed. I take the flaxseed. I eat my handful of my walnuts every once in a while, but they do make a vegan CoQ10 now. So I'll be looking into getting that. So that is my weird, anyways, what I wanted to say, because I got distracted again, is I want to share some of these dreams with you as long as they're not too bad, because like if I start doing weird ambient stuff, get up in the middle of the night and drive my car somewhere and hold a family captive or something, I want everybody to have record that something was going on because of this new medication. They did put me on Ambien when I was on chemo. When I was going through chemo, they put me on Ambien to help me sleep. And I remember telling Jim, make sure all of the Sharpie things are put away. Good morning, Grace and Fire. Make sure the car keys are put away so I don't drive off somewhere in the middle of the night while I'm on Ambien. I never had issues with that. Never had issues with the Ambien. So you guys remember a couple weeks ago, I shared something about my grandma and my grandpa's Bible, and the local church is looking into that to see if it could have possibly been attributed to something else here in Iowa where she grew up. I found out my grandma grew up. She was actually born at a farm and raised on a farm only an hour away from where I live. So we'll be planning a trip out to my grandmother's birthplace soon, and we'll just put a little video out because I think that would be kind of neat. I want to do a little research first. I don't want to just drive out there on a day that Papa Jim is with me, because we won't know where to go. But I want to go to the assessor's office for that county and see if I can get some information, or the library, and find out where that farm was so I can actually go to that farm and just do a little bit of research, a little bit of sleuthing to find out where she was born and raised. But I bring this up because I have learned a little bit of history. My uncle on my biological father's side, he has done so much research into our family history and has a lot of it saved on Ancestry.com and everything. He was really into it. We just lost him this last year. So I never got to sit with him and talk to him face to face about what he learned about our family and everything. But I knew that our family was from Germany, but they were Russian Germans because they took Catherine the Great up on a deal to move to Russia. She had offered them a plot of land, and I knew this, and actually we finally finished that show I was telling you guys about a few weeks ago called The Great. And remember I said it's really kind of funny. It's not completely historically accurate, but it was funny and it's not gruesome. Like by the second or third episode, it did get kind of gruesome, but it was still funny, so funny. We finished that, learned a little bit about Catherine the Great, even though it's not historically accurate. I do now want to look a little bit more into Catherine the Great because she did extend an offer to German families to come to Russia, and they would have a plot of land. They wouldn't have to be militarized. They would have religious freedom, all of these other things. Grace says, I love Ancestry. If he uploaded it, you can tap into the information entered. Yes, I want to get a membership, though. I'm not sure how much I have access to. He sent me all kinds of stuff when I found my biological father. I was sent all kinds of files in my emails. Good morning, Tiny Tim. So I knew that our family had left Germany for Russia because of Catherine the Great. Well, what I didn't know until recently was my family immigrated here to the United States from Ukraine. And here we have everything going on in Ukraine right now. And if Ukraine back in that time was the whole of Russia, I don't know my history well. I will admit it. I don't know my geography well. Was not my strong suit in school. But I remember, I'm going to see if I can share a screen, because I remember seeing something when I met my biological father and he showed me this picture. Let me see if I can get the tab open. Okay. Let me go back over to StreamYard. There it is. Okay. So my biological father in his home had framed photographs of two ships. One was the ship that my paternal grandmother came over on, and the other was the ship that my paternal grandfather came over to the United States on. So this is the ship that my grandmother came over on, and it says Grandma Frida. That's my Grandma Frida, and she was short and sassy, and I think I would have gotten along famously with her. I think I resemble her quite a bit. She was 2 years old on board the Haverford. It says Paul Hetterly and family came over on the SS Haverford. The Hetterly family came to the USA and arrived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the SS Haverford on December 15th, 1909 from Neusatz. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Neusatz, Ukraine. Their destination was LaSalle, Colorado, to join the Johann Duber family. The SS Haverford is the ship that the family came to America. And then if I scroll down a little bit in the comments, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things here. And she sends me Russian, German heritage stuff all the time. But she says here in a comment, our Hederley and Sandow families were one of the many German families Catherine the Great enticed to go to Russia by being given land to work. They were to have no religious persecution, would not have to join the army, and low taxes. Needless to say, that changed, so they came to America. So I thought that was kind of neat that I almost didn't share this with you guys because I thought, the last time I shared family history, things went sideways like super fast. Grace and Fire says, I also did the DNA through Ancestry. Super fascinating because it shows you what regions your family DNA, let me scroll back up because I lost it, have been tested through. I've not done any of the DNA testing. Heather says, I did the DNA thing through Ancestry. It was spot on with my family stories, except that it didn't pick up any of the Native American in us. Good morning, Lena. Good morning. So I just wanted to share that little bit of history that is the ship that my grandmother came over from the Ukraine when she was 2 years old. So, not that it, how do I put this? What's happening right now is awful, but this makes me feel like I have a little bit more of a personal connection. I know. It's like, wow, as I watch the maps and what's going on right now in the world, I've been looking for that city that they came from, and I haven't seen it on any of the maps on, some of the news caps that they put on YouTube when they're kind of recapping everything that happened on the day. I haven't seen that yet, but I need to find out where that was. And I don't know where they lived at the time. Obviously they went to this one port, but I don't know where they lived. But I do know that the family Sandow, the German family that I'm from, there was an actual village, the whole village, and I believe it was in Germany. So that would be before Catherine the Great. The whole village was called Sandow. And if I recall hearing something along the lines of that it was completely wiped off the map, in either World War I or World War II. So it's like the village isn't even there anymore. Heather Lynn, don't let that discourage you. It didn't in me either, but it did in my grandmother. She has Native American in her DNA. So Gwen says there really isn't enough Native American DNA data to be accurate with Ancestry. Mine showed none too, and I know for a fact that my great-grandma is half and another great-grandma being full. My brother-in-law did his Ancestry through Ancestry.com, and it didn't show in his either. But he has a picture of his grandmother, and she's like full-on Cherokee. But it doesn't show in his DNA results at all. But, and so he started questioning, because I was always told growing up that my grandma was Cherokee, but now it's not showing in the DNA, and I don't know what to think of it. So I think you're right, Gwen. It probably just isn't, maybe it's a little bit faulted. Maybe the test is a little faulty. Your grandmother is full blood. So I thought that was a little interesting. I don't know if I go back into my Facebook. If I can find. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm going to share this page because you guys tell me what you think. That is my grandma Frida on the right of your screen. You can tell the two, obviously, the older pictures. And then the hat, the floppy hat, and then the picture of me when I'm a little bit older. Let me scroll it back up. See, that's me. Don't you think I kind of look like her? I think I look like my grandma. What do you guys think? See? I do think I look like her. Alicia, with your ancestors being rather recent immigrants, you should be able to find out more. With all of mine having come to the U.S. in the 16s and 1700s, it's a bit tricky to find info. Yeah. Now, see, I did know quite a bit of my family history from my dad who raised me. And then to learn on his deathbed that he wasn't my biological father, it has opened up a window to all kinds of new things. Because his family, my dad who raised me, his family came over, I think, 13 years after the Mayflower. And lots of rich family history there. And I didn't take advantage of that family history when I should have. And it's not available to me now anyway. So. But his family history were the Mathers, Cotton Mather, Richard Mather, Stephen Tyne Mather, very, very steeped in history. And I actually had a full ride to Harvard because I was of the lineage of the Mathers. But I ran away from home and married Papa Jim instead of finishing high school and going to college. Could have gone to college, could have gone to Harvard for free. What's happening with your dog, the new one? Oh, my wiener dog? Are you talking? Let me get this. Let me take the screen down. Remove. My wiener dog? You talking about my wiener dog, Major? Actually, this next few days are the last days that you have the opportunity to go to my community page and vote on a name for that wiener dog. There are 5 top names listed. And you need to vote on one because on Saturday we'll be picking the winner and assigning that little puppy dog that name. And that will be its name on all of our adventures. If you watched my kite video, that wiener dog actually made an appearance in our kite video. He had a lot of fun out on the lake that day. I would do a DNA test if I were you. It is eye-opening on my potential side. I was told I was a Hatfield. Ooh, I'm not. My 3-time great-grandma is neighbor to Aunts Hatfield. Oh, the head of the Hatfields. Interesting. But you're not a Hatfield. Very interesting. You know, I thought about doing a DNA thing. I don't know. I kind of wanted to just kind of leave things where they were. I don't know what I would find. Would it be interesting? Would it be sad? Have you ever watched the shows where people find out about their history, like stars, like, you know, singing artists and movie stars? They find out their history. Sometimes it's really gut-wrenching. I think my big fear is I knew growing up that my dad wasn't my dad. I sensed it. I sensed that my dad wasn't my dad. I always felt it. And I kind of always waited at different stages in my life for somebody to tell me that my dad wasn't my dad and who my biological father was. And that never happened. And there's this whole story behind that because there was a history. You know, I have a sister. He has another daughter that grew up most of her life believing he was her father and he wasn't. So he had a history of helping women who had unplanned pregnancies. He would marry them and raise the child as his own. So it was really devastating. I think I was only 9 when my sister found out that she was not his child. And I don't think she ever spoke to him ever again. And I think that's why they never told me. It had gone sideways once before. And I think they didn't want it to go sideways with me. So they never told me. But my mother told me as my father was on his deathbed. Grace and fire. I mean, my family ran with the Hatfields. So there's that. I mean, just as good, right? The major's done a DNA test. Turns out they're all mine. Ah, so my mom tells me while my dad's on his deathbed that he's not my biological father, and she tells me who my biological father is. And I waited out of respect. You know, my dad passed away about 10 minutes after she told me that, and I waited out of respect for several months before I reached out to the man who she said was my biological father. And what's really crazy is while my mother's telling me this story, my sister, another sister, is listening from the doorway, and she gets the name that my mother shares, and she runs to her computer. My sister used to do repos, so she had access to files. She could find out what people were. She found my biological father in like under 5 minutes, and he was 7 miles away from where I sat at that moment, 7 miles away. But I didn't reach out to him at that time. I waited several months out of respect for my dad. And I did reach out to my biological father. And I mean, he knew right away why I was calling. Heather Lynn says, my Nana on the other side of the family always talked about how we were related to Mark Twain through marriage. You know, where is it that I want to go? Oh, Keokuk, Iowa. Keokuk, Iowa is the birthplace of Mark Twain, and Papa Jim and I are going to plan a trip there to learn about all of that. Grace and Fire says, I don't, but they ran with the Hatfields. I'm related to some of the Hatfield-McCoy story. It was the kid that had Down syndrome. Lots of inbreeding. That's my potential side. I think we all have one in the family, don't we? We all have that. Anyways, so when I reached out to my biological father and he was just full on accepting, I had fears before I reached out to him for the longest time. What if I reach out to him and he completely shuns me? What if he's mean to me? What if it just doesn't go well? You know, that's always a possibility. And so I was really fearful of when I first reached out to him, but he didn't. It was great. And he told me, he said, we can do a DNA test if you want to. He goes, but I'm your father. But we can do a test if you want to. And I thought, no, my mother said you were my father. You say you're my father. It didn't go horribly wrong. It's going well. And this is a man who tells me that he's been looking for me for years. You know, he was older. He didn't have a computer. He wasn't computer savvy, but he showed me when I first met him. He had DVDs where he had recorded these TV shows that come on where people are looking for their family members. He would record them and he would watch them to see if I was ever on there looking for my biological father. He goes, I have all these tapes and I watch all these shows to see if you were ever looking for me. And he just didn't know how to look for me. And so I thought, you know, I'm not going to do a DNA because I like the way that this story is going. And I don't want to have it come back that maybe he wasn't my father. He said he was. My mother said he was. And that first time that I met him, I said, you want to call my mom? And he says, yeah, I want to call your mom because I've missed her so much. And I called my mom. She was in a care facility here in Iowa, and I was seeing him in Nevada. And as soon as I rang the phone and I put them on the phone together, tears, they were weeping. Oh, honey. Oh, sweetie, I've missed you so much. They hadn't spoken in 43 years. And it was an instant connection with them again. And I didn't want to, I don't want to ruin that. I don't want to ruin that. I don't want to do a DNA test and have that ending be ruined. Hello, Ben's Over Acres. Heather Lynn says, my grandfather always pointed out 7 names that were related on the memorial at Plymouth. Oh, that's interesting. When I tell you about the the heritage that I thought I had growing up with the Mather family. If you ever go to the Grand Canyon on the south rim of the Grand Canyon, there's a plaque for Stephen Tyne Mather. And Stephen Tyne Mather was the actual father of the National Park System. So there's a plaque there for him. If you go into the dome inside our Capitol, the dome at the Capitol, when you look up, there are portraits of people, and you look around the inside, and Richard Mather is there. He is the father of religion for our country. And Cotton Mather was the pastor or the reverend at the Old North Church when Paul Revere made his ride. Wrote many books. He and Richard Mather were founding fathers of Harvard University, which is why I would have had a free ride to Harvard, because descendants of the Mathers would have had a free ride to Harvard. All the way up to my great-grandfather, that entire lineage is in the Congressional Library. There's a book of our lineage in the Congressional Library, and it has my grandma's, not the one I showed you. It has her father's name in it. And then I recently found out that many women were saved during the Salem witch trials because Cotton Mather interceded on their behalf and told them, you've got to stop doing this. This is wrong. So Cotton Mather was not beneficial. He, I don't know the word I want. He saved a lot of women. He saved a lot of women from dying in the witch trials. And I did a little research on that, and everybody's like, oh, the Salem witch trials, and it was terrible, but I think people think a lot more people were persecuted than actually were. I think there were only, I know it's a terrible thing to say only, but when you think of the Salem witch trials, you think it must have been several women who were wrongly persecuted. I think there were 13, I think. But I thought that was kind of neat to find out that Cotton Mather was instrumental. That was the word I was looking for. Grace and Fire. My grandpa lied about his age to join the army because he was hungry. My dad did too. My dad, who raised me, I think when he went into World War II, I think he was 15, probably 90 pounds soaking wet, 15 years old, and went off to the Pacific. And he was supposed to be at the Battle of Midway, but he got on the wrong ship. He was supposed to go this way, and the ship he got on went that way, and he was not at Midway. He was on I don't know if it was an LMT or an LST, a smaller vessel in Japanese territory during World War II. And the cook had sent him up top to get, I think he either said onions or potatoes. My sister will probably be watching this later, and she'll correct me. I think he was sent up top to get potatoes, and he never came back. And so they were like, where is, my dad's name was Carol. I don't know if they called him CL. He went by CL for a long time for Carol Lee. Where's Carol? And they were like, I don't know. And they went looking for him. Well, he wasn't on the ship. So they figured he must have been washed overboard, and he was. A wave hit and he got washed overboard. And he tread water the whole time because he said he couldn't swim back to the ship. The ship wasn't going very fast, but if he would have tried to catch up and swim and get on the ship, he would have been shot, because they don't know who's trying to get on the ship. They might think it's the other side. And he couldn't swim to shore, even though he could see it, because it was Japanese occupied. So he'd be shot or taken prisoner. So he had to tread water. And he said he had a big heavy jacket on. I don't remember if he ever said, my sister will probably tell me. I don't remember if he kept the jacket on or if he shed the jacket for fear that it would just weigh him down and he would get more tired. But he lost a shoe. He lost one of his boots. And they did. They turned around and they went back and they had a spotlight and they found him and they brought him back up on board. But he had to do the rest of his tour of duty. Somebody found him a boot, and it was like 3 sizes bigger than his other boot. So he had these different size shoes for the rest of the time he was in the army. Oh my goodness. I wish, I gave my dad a recorder one time and I said, could you please, I lived several hours from him. I said, could you start telling your stories? This is when he was probably late 70s. I said, could you start telling some of your stories? Because I know I'll get the facts wrong. And he never did record them for me. My mom's side is boring, typical poor country folk doing the best to survive. But my paternal, that was a lot. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. It was sad. My grandpa, born in 1905, was from Oklahoma. He had a photo of his parents, most definitely Native American. I'm told Cherokee, but 1910 census shows white, right? Because I bet you could flub back then, and who's going to know? And that way you don't open yourself up to persecution that way. Grace and Fire, my grandpa went to Japan too. He and I laughed because he lived there and I didn't know how to speak Japanese. He picked up the language and he spoke it the day he died. Oh, that's interesting. Gwen says, isn't it strange that they didn't have means to verify age back then? I mean, I know there were census records and birth records, but they didn't utilize them. Heather Lynn, of what I could find on the free part of Ancestry, that the Pineo family, my grandmother's family, went from France to the United States and then to Nova Scotia before my great-grandmother came to, is that Maine? You can find a lot of info on Family Search, all free. That's good to know. Heather Lynn, one of my don't remember how many greats grandfather was a fisherman in the Azores. The only thing with Family Search is anyone can change the info on there that isn't verified. Well, that's not very reassuring. Mountain Grandma. Hello, Mountain Grandma. Hello, Tammy. We were told that some natives declined the roll number so they couldn't claim the Cherokee heritage going forward. But we don't know what we are really. Well, if I were to tell you what I am, based on what I know so far, I'm pretty much a mutt. I'm a Heinz 57 mutt. Massachusetts. I tell you, geography is not my strong point. I'm not good with the abbreviations. Like if I have to send something somewhere and is it Arizona, is like I get caught up between Arizona, Alaska, Arkansas. Which one's the AK? Which one's the AZ? Those things get me all the time. People can change the info. Geez, that's crazy. You're a mutt too. I'm a mutt. So that's pretty much what I've got going on this week. I'm going to be working on some things for our crochet along. The weather's beautiful today. You can see I've got sunshine coming in the window here. Now that's funny. That is a complete blonde moment right there because I'm looking at the camera. Any of you who have done StreamYard, you know it's difficult to know which way to point on a camera because it's always opposite of what you want to do. So I'm sitting here looking to make sure I point in the right direction, tell you there's sunshine today, when really all I needed to do was look at the window and point. It would have been accurate just to point at the window. But no, like this. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my gosh. My grandmother's family worked for a family who had a farm. They worked the house and some of the farm work. Oh, goodness, Tiny Tim. The town he was from is under a lake now. We're all mutts. We're all in good company here, aren't we? Lena says most shows white back in the 1920s, so they didn't get put on reservations. Indigenous burned down courthouses, it's jumping on me, in Ohio, so they couldn't find what they were native. A lot went into hiding in the Shawnee tribe. A lot of Sioux tribe here in Iowa. That's my son was born in Sioux City. They can't change stuff like census records, but people that enter a family tree, someone can come along and change it. You know, I should check to see if I've been added to the family tree with my biological father. I wonder if my uncle did that before he passed away. I wonder if I think I am. It's really neat because I have 3 female cousins that I still have never met. If we make it on one of our trips into a region where they live, I'd love to stop by and see them. They post things sometimes of the 3 of them making, what is it? Is it schnitzel or strudel? I think they make strudel, and they have the strudel all across this big workstation. And they make strudel based on when their grandma taught them how to make strudel. And I missed out on that. I missed out on our common grandma teaching me to make strudel. And I think they're a bit older than me, my cousins. They were teenagers, late teenagers when I was born. But I need to plan a trip so I can at least meet 1, 2, hopefully all 3 of them. Never got to meet my uncle, but that would be neat to meet with them and actually have them teach me how to make the strudel. That would be neat. I don't know. I just see pictures. I don't know if they're sweet or savory strudels. I don't know what they make. That would be neat though. But there's another, I don't know, there's a picture of my grandma. I already showed you the one. I don't know if there's another one. I'm trying to look here. Photos posted by me. Nope. Posted by my friends. Nope. Posts. I know she's got to have a post here somewhere of my grandma when she's older, because I just think she and I would have had a lot of fun. I really do. I think she was a sassy little thing, and she and I just would have had a blast. There's a picture of her. Oh, look, I found the picture of the strudel. So I'm going to put that up since you asked. There's the family making the strudel. All the way across that. Do you know that Black Dutch heritage was made up by Indians so they could keep their land and not be relocated? Interesting. Yeah, schnitzel is something different. Strudel is sweet and so good. Okay, so this says strudel. So it was strudel that they were making there. But those are my 3 cousins, and then my uncle who passed away this last year making the strudel posts. Gosh darn it, I got to start all over again, don't I? There is this great picture of my grandma, though, if I can find it. And it makes me long for what I missed with her. Because I think she and I would have had a blast. She's just sassy. She's so sassy. But the more there it is. I found it. I found it. These dates don't add up though. The dates don't add up according to when she was born and when she came over on the boat. There she is. It says she was born in 1907, but I thought the boat said she came over in 1902. No, she came over at the age of 2 in 1909. Never mind. It's right. But look at her. Doesn't she look sassy? She was short. She looked like she was fun. I think I would have had a lot of fun with her. I love sassy ladies. I do too. And it's really neat, though, because they've taken the time to pass on the whole strudel thing. Because like I said, there was a picture of them with the strudel. And it's the 3 nieces and a granddaughter. And look, here is... This is Grandma Frida's great grandson rolling out a strudel, probably at his great grandpa's house. So they've passed the strudel making on to another generation. So what did I say? Him and then her, and then that's the grandma, great-grandma. So great. This is her great-great-grandson doing the strudel. Tiny Tim, we also lived with the Amish because Shawnee were light-skinned, and the Amish would say that they were the relations. That's pretty cool. So I'll take that down. Anyways, well, friends, we're at an hour. Does anybody have anything interesting you want to share? Anybody got anything you want to talk about? Look, I'm working on my first square while we've been talking. Of course, this is just going to be a prototype. This is not what I'm going to do during our live tomorrow. I'll do an actual one tomorrow during our live. But square one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a prototype and I'll set it aside. Then I will actually do one during our live, and that will be the one that I put together. And then my extra blocks, I might make another Afghan for a family member or something. There's no sense ripping it out, right? Pens over acres. I'm fifth generation from the first white settler in Wright County, Iowa. My family has remained farming less than 5 miles from where he settled in Troy Township. I know where Wright County is, Ben's over acres. Neighbor. I know where that is. Oh, you're working on a flip book. Oh, that's fun. And then more cleaning. That's not fun. That's not going to be fun. I have, it's a beautiful day. I think I might go do my soil test from the mysoiltesting.com for around the hay bale. So I might be able to do that. It's very muddy right now, though. I don't even know if I can. First it was snow, now it's melted and it's mud, and I hate that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do some other things, get ready for tomorrow for our crochet along. And then I'm going to work on that other thing I want to do. And then I have to work on, oh my gosh, I have such a neat concept for my Grubterra. I got some Grubterra for a review, and it's larvae for your chickens, dried larvae, freeze-dried. And I've got such a neat idea. I have overthought it. I really, really have. Hobby Lobby has a sale on their yarn, so she's shopping. So much fun. Oh my gosh, let me show you what else I'm making. Hang on a second, let me grab it. Oh, you guys. I'm so happy that Papa Jim he gave me his gaming chair that he has in his reloading room, so my back doesn't hurt so bad. It still hurts, but I don't know if let me put a couple of stitches in this to secure it so I don't lose what I've done here. I am making, who knows what a duster is? I'm making a duster. And, oh, Lena's getting her seeds started, then working in the garden, getting it ready. Yes. I've never been to Hobby Lobby because we don't have any close enough to you to go to, huh? So, I'm making a duster. I'm making more than one. I started this duster the other day and I posted a picture of it. And it's a mandala. So here's the round part of the mandala. And this will go on my back, okay? And it will have armholes, so then I can put my arm through it, and then the circle will come around to the front and have a lacy front, and I'll use a brooch to close it. But it's like a duster jacket, but in a mandala pattern. Isn't that pretty? So I started working on this up here the other day, and I was downstairs yesterday, and I was just tired, and I didn't want to come upstairs and work on it. So what I did instead is I started working on another one downstairs. So I've got one downstairs, got one upstairs. But I'm hoping to make some of these, and then I can wear them on my travels. And, just have a really nice little top and then wear that duster over. I think it'll be really, really pretty. Grace and Fire, I sent off for a coupon for mealworms. The crazy crew loves them. I cannot wait to put my video together. It's going to be, if I can do it right and if I can pull it off, it will be epic. The snow is slowly melting this week because we had 20s and 30s for the sun this week. Yes. So, I love making those dusters. I need to go to the store. I want to get just a little bit. This is an acrylic that I'm making, this one, and the one downstairs. It's an acrylic worsted weight. It's a 4. But I want to go get the mandala cakes. They're a little bit lighter yarn, so I can wear one in the summertime and have it just be a little bit lighter. But I love them. I'm really hoping I'm going to have to adjust this pattern to make it my size. And, these big old fat arms are going to have to be able to fit through the armholes. I'm exercising. I'm working at it. It's going to take a while. We were talking the other day in Yogi Hollow Farm in Mountain Grandma. They have their 7F series. And if you haven't seen those yet, go over to those 2 channels and try to catch up. It's 7Fs. And it's, like I said, it's Mountain Grandma and Yogi Hollow Farm. And it's about prioritizing and organizing your life based on 7 F's, which include but not are not limited to family, fun, faith, finances, things like that. And one is fitness. And I was sharing that I've been doing drumming, even with my bad arm. I have to be really careful with it. But I have one of those big, big exercise balls that you sit on and do exercises on. Well, I have it in a big ice tub, like what you get at Walmart if you're going to have like a party and you've got those big buckets with the handles on them, the rope handles. I set that ball in there. And then I got some acrylic drumsticks. And so I beat that drum and I dance and I do squats and I do leg lifts. So I do that at least once a day. I've got it on my little spinny wheel of tasks to do. Thank you, Lisa. She says it was all Mountain Grandma's idea. It's all Tammy's idea, but the two ladies are sharing the format. One is on one channel one week, and the next episode is on the next channel the next week. So to catch it all, you need to, I think, go to both channels. And I'm sure they have a playlist. But that's what I'm doing for exercise. So I have on my little spinny wheel, because I have like what I do for our cupcake drawing on Saturdays. I have a spinny wheel of tasks to complete around the house. And on there, it says one dance, just one song. So I spun it the other day, and I try to get it to come up at least once a day. And turned on YouTube to some rock and roll music from I don't remember. It just was classic rock of some type. And the first song that came up, gosh, now I can't remember. Lisa, do you remember what song I said it was that came up? Oh my gosh, I can't remember now. It was a really long song. It wasn't Freebird. It wasn't The Day the Music Died, but it was a long song. It was so long. It was like 8 minutes. Will I go to a Michael's for my yarn? No, the nearest Michael's to me is... The nearest Michael's is about 180 miles round trip. So I won't be going to Michael's. No. I'm going to try to use what I've got here. I picked up some Red Heart the other day when I was in town. And Red Heart, Wally World usually has the mandala, the thinner yarn that I want to. Gosh, I don't remember what song it was, but oh my God, I was exhausted by the time it was done. I remember going on a chat going, FML, I'm exhausted, one song. And then I did another song yesterday and it was really long. It's like, why am I getting all these long songs? No, it wasn't that one. That's The Day the Music Died. That wasn't that one. I asked because they have a great coupon, so offering, well, thank you. But no, it's too far for me. I don't know if anybody else can utilize it. I won't be going. You know where we will be going though? I think. I don't know. I think. And I mentioned this the other night. Everything is an hour away from me, so I shop online. The shipping is cheaper than the gas it would cost you to drive. Absolutely. We have to go to Michael's to go to a craft store, but we don't get all the way to the mall most of the time. There's going to be a Freedom Convoy driving through on Friday night. And I thought, based on what they said, I thought it was only going to be like 20 or 30 miles from us, but now I'm seeing that it might be a little bit further. So I don't know if we're going to go. I thought it'd be really cool to just be a part of that. Might go down to a Freedom Convoy. I don't know. We'll see. I thought it'd be kind of neat. So now we're trying to decide if we do we go that night and then drive back? Or do we get up really early in the morning and go down in the morning and see them off onto the next leg of their journey? Don't know yet. Don't even know if we're going to go. We have to go to a craft store, but we don't get all the way to the mall. Wish we had a Michael's, right, Denise? Yeah. We just don't have one close enough to us. And I find that when I even do go into the town where it is, I never go. We always have something else to do. So I don't make it to the Michael's, which if I were going to go to the Michael's, Papa Jim would say, what do we have to go to Michael's for? And I would say yarn. And he'd say, we don't need yarn. I've got bins and bins and bins of yarn. I don't need yarn. We went to the store the other day and I told you I'm going to do this blanket, right? With my, it's going to be a stash buster. And I bought 2 big skeins of yarn. He goes, what do you need yarn for? You've got so much yarn. I said, I just don't want to risk it. I want to have a really good gray and I want to have a really good white. I don't want to risk it. He's like, good Lord, woman. But you know what? He came home the other day with some goodies from the Snap-on man, his tool dealer. And I use the word dealer as intended. He comes home with stuff from the Snap-on man all the time, his dealer. And sometimes he catches me off guard. He brings them in. And I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. That's cool. Look at that. That's a neat thing that he gave you. And then it dawns on me. He's like, uh-oh, what did you have to buy? What did you have to buy to get these goodies? He says, you don't want to know. And he's right. I don't want to know. He's always on that tool truck. And he tells me I got to spend money to make money. So I never give him a hard time. It's his dealer. Hello, LP. How are you? We're just talking all kinds of silly stuff here this morning. It's coffee chat, but I didn't bring coffee. I filled up my water bottles from my Berkey, which I know when you compare yourself to big channels, it's not that big of a deal, but my Berkey video is at almost 4,000, almost. The mall is 25 minutes away, but you might run into traffic, and my husband doesn't like to spend that much on gas. I've never heard of those other stores. Men have their things. Yes, they do. And his is the Snap-on man. And I'll leave it at that. It's a Snap-on man, and he likes to reload. So he's always getting stuff for that. But I deny him nothing. Husband did too. I told him Snap-on is like the Avon lady. Oh no, it's much worse than having an Avon lady. Oh, that Snap-on man. I've told him Papa Jim will buy things and I'll say, I hear there's a promotion for a really nice Snap-on cast iron Dutch oven and skillet. And where's mine? And he says, oh, he doesn't have any. And I said, well, Mama wants one. And that man, because Papa Jim is a good customer, that man had a cast iron skillet and Dutch oven sent in from another state to make sure I got what I wanted, because that Snap-on dealer is smart. He knows you keep the wife happy. The husband gets to keep coming on the truck and spending money on your truck. So that's how we got that one. But it's funny because he comes home with goodies all the time. But I don't know. I think his setup is at work, his toolboxes. Have you ever seen the memes on Facebook or on TikTok or Instagram or anything where you've got the mechanic and it's like an entire wall, 7 foot tall, of these big, huge toolbox massiveness? That's my husband. I'd say we could probably have a second home or a really nice luxury car if we were to put that money towards it. Matter of fact, I think we could probably have a couple homes. He's been a lot with the old Snap-on man. But what else? Do you guys want to talk about anything else, or should we wrap it up for today? I don't have much more other than my tasks that I'm going to be completing today. I don't know. I'm excited to maybe go to the Freedom Convoy and look around at that. And we're going to be planning some of our next adventures. I don't know. I'm excited for spring. I'm excited to do some fun things. We did not have a terrible winter. It really wasn't that bad, but I'm ready for spring. I know we're not there yet, even though the snow is melting and everything is muddy right now. And I have 2 friends that report that they saw robins this week. Denise, Green Granny 2, have you seen any robins out at your farm? We're pretty close. You're ready for spring? Yeah. Danvers variety of carrots was developed. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I've not seen a robin yet. But we were driving back from town the other day, And I told Papa Jim, I said, oh, there's an eagle flying. And it's like, oh, there's two. And he says, oh my gosh, look at the field. Out in the field, there were a dozen bald eagles. And it wasn't safe for us to stop. But if we could have stopped, I would have gotten some footage of all of the bald eagles in the field. It was just south of where we live. It was really, really neat. But those two bald eagles, they come around. I haven't seen them messing with anything. I did notice the other day that one of my chickens was looking poorly, and I checked in on her, and I don't know if she was just cold or what her deal was. I didn't put her in the chicken hospital because I want her to have the warmth of her coop mates to keep her warm at night. So I didn't separate her, but I didn't see her yesterday. But I didn't see the eagles yesterday, but I told Papa Jim, I said, I don't see Dolly. So we've got our eye out for Dolly, but she wasn't looking well. So, but I did a head count on everybody else, and it seems like everybody else is doing okay. And my girls have started laying again. I got an egg yesterday. It's been so snow-packed and now muddy that I can't make it to collect the eggs. I have to come up with a better system to collect my eggs. But I was able to get one yesterday. So I'll be happy that I'll be... our stash of eggs for the winter, we didn't have any issue with having our eggs for our omelets and for our breakfast burritos and everything because of how I saved the eggs this last year in those plastic bags, and then I steam them. If you haven't seen those videos, check those out because they're pretty cool. We did really good there. Now, I do admit to getting some eggs when I was running low for my chaffles because what I have stored in the freezer, I've got other ingredients with, but I wanted to do the chaffles. Oh, I know what I have to tell you guys. I'm so proud of my grandson. I've seen a lot of robins in Michigan. Actually, several weeks ago, I was surprised because I thought it was still too cold for them yet. Ben's Over Acres has not seen a robin yet. Well, I can tell you that not far away from you, people are reporting robins, but I haven't seen any yet. But let me see if I can. Well, I shouldn't because there's other people. I was going to pull up a picture of my grandson's culinary team from high school, but there's other people's children in there, and I don't want to put them on. But my grandson, he's in the culinary arts program where he goes to school, and they went to the state capitol yesterday. They went 2 days ago. They got to spend the night, but they had their big competition. I can't remember what the competition's called. Pro team or something. I don't know. Anyways, they had a big competition for the culinary arts yesterday at their state capitol. And there were two major categories. One was the culinary arts and one was culinary management. And their high school swept the state finals. They took first place in both of those major categories. Big, huge trophies. They got the medals around their neck and everything. And I was so proud. I was actually watching on a live stream. I was watching watched the competitions and then watched the medal ceremony, the award ceremony. So proud of those kids. The food they put out. This I can show you, but I don't have it on. Maybe I do have it on. Maybe I can get it on Facebook. You would not believe that this is food from high schoolers. Absolutely amazing. Let me see if I can find it. Because I know that my daughter-in-law shared pictures of the food. I'm just amazed. Oh, but I can't show it without giving off somebody's name. All right, I'll pull it up instead. I'll show you on my laptop thingy, my whatever you call it, this thing. Wait until you see this. Oh my gosh, it's just lovely. I showed it to Papa Jim last night, and he's like, wow, I can't believe those kids made that food. It's like, right? Incredible. Can I make this bigger? No. I have to find a way to make it bigger. Hang with me. Don't go nowhere. Okay. Now I've got a full screen. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look at this food these kids made. Look at that. Let me get it where there's no glare. Look at that. High schoolers. High schoolers made that. And even though I don't eat meat, I have to admit that's beautiful. That is stunning. This was the appetizer. I think it was butternut squash ravioli with an endive salad. Look at that. Yum. Isn't that gorgeous? High schoolers. And then look at this. Oh my gosh. Look at this dessert. Look at that dessert with gold flakes. It has gold leaf flakes on it. Isn't that gorgeous? High schoolers. Oh, so they took first place in all categories. And if that didn't thrill me enough, my gosh, then I found out they got scholarships, which is amazing. And then I found out they will be representing their state at the Nationals in Washington, D.C. So this grandma's going to be fundraising, I'm sure. You're drooling. It is beautiful food. Isn't it wonderful? I'm so proud of them. So they're going to go to Washington, D.C. to follow up and represent their state. I'm so proud of those kids. But I'm super proud of my grandson because he does want to be a chef when he grows up. And I've watched him develop his love for the foods and the arts and work on his knife skills. And I was watching the video of him when he was actually speaking to the judges. And I found him to be confident and approachable and articulate. And I know I'm biased, but I think he did such a great job. I'm a proud grandma right now. They're very talented kids. Yes, Ben's over acres. Can't remember names. I'm sorry. I'm drooling too, even though half of that I wouldn't have eaten, but I want the dessert. I'll take the dessert with a cup of coffee right now. If those kids showed up right now at my doorstep with one of those, I'd take it. I most certainly would. So, well, that's about it, guys. I'm about done with my coffee time. I'm going to go check on my chickens, see if I want to do my gardening video today for my mysoiltesting.com, or if I just want to stay in my jammies and set up my stuff for my crochet. I think I'm just going to stay in my jammies. That's what I think I'm going to do. So anyways, thank you guys for joining me. We are at about an hour and a half. Huga, you just showed up. I'm getting ready to say goodbye. Chasing chickens on this beautiful day. That's a good way to spend the day. You know, a chicken on average runs 12 miles per hour. That's why it's almost impossible to ever catch them. 12 miles an hour. I've never caught a chicken that way unless you can corner them. But I don't stress them out. I don't chase them. But I did notice today, you know, we have Phoebe. Phoebe is a wild turkey that has kind of just joined our little group here. And she's here every day now. And I did notice one of the ducks, they were going in circles. She'd run around a tree and he'd try to cut her off at the pass, and he can't catch her. He can't run as fast as the turkeys do. But I've got Twitter-pated mayhem going on out in the orchard. So yes, thank you, Tammy. Have a blessed day, everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed the chat. Tammy, I hope you get to enjoy our crochet along. That would be a lot of fun. Goodbye, Heather Lynn. Thank you. Bye, Lisa. Thank you. Goodbye, Ben's Over Acres. And goodbye, Grace and Fire. Gonna rename Karen to Houdini. Karen's a troublemaker, it sounds like. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Huga, I'm sorry. It's CB, right? CB? CJ? CB? I'm glad you were able to show up even though it's getting ready to say goodbye. I will see you guys later. So tomorrow, crochet. Saturday, we're stuffing that pumpkin. No, we're not. We're stuffing a piñata. I need coffee. Anyways. All right, my friends. We'll take care and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.